Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to the front lines. Death Watch here to give you guys more intel so you can update your personal armory and fight back against the fake news media machine. And today we're going to be talking about Cenat in his Twitch giveaway, right? Where he decided that he was going to invite all his viewers to come to New York City and try to give away PS5s, PCs, and all that jazz, right? Now, do I think Cenat should be arrested for inciting a riot? No, but I think that he should face some type of responsibility because, hey, you should have tried to at least coordinate with the police to try to see if you could like have a designated area where everybody could come and come and receive whatever prizes that they could get, right? However, it is not all on case and net, right? Because what we are seeing here is mainly the ramifications of the BLM riots in 2020. Okay, all of this has, why is there a bunch of young people going out into the streets just causing mayhem, destruction, robbing, looting, right? Getting into random fights, no respect for public and private property, right? Why are we seeing that? Because it is the ramifications of, again, the 2020 Black Lives George Floyd riots. Not fiery, but mostly peaceful protests. No, they were riots. Okay? From the New York Post, charges against hundreds of New York City rioters, looters have been dropped. Okay? So in 2020, these people were giving full access to go out and do all these crazy things, right? A bunch of young people, a bunch of opportunists, if you would, went out, robbed, looted, firebombed, attacked police officers, got in fights with police officers, right? And all their charges were dropped because the Democrats needed this chaos to go on because of the election cycle. Okay, we were in a big election cycle, so they needed to drum up all the support that they could, all the chaos that they could, because of the death of George Floyd, right? As Chris Cuomo came out and said on CNN, who said that that riot, who said that protest had to be peaceful? It's in the law, but it's literally in the law that says that a protest, as soon as it devolves into any type of violence whatsoever, it is now considered a riot. Okay, the Associated Press changed their guidelines on for everybody, for all the news outlets, saying where they openly publicly tweeted saying, hey, do not call what you're seeing on screen, right? Do not believe your eyes, everybody. Just because you see a bunch of people jump into store windows, robbing stuff, running out with handbags or jewelry, right, or clothes, things that they're clearly stealing from a store that they all broke into, right? Don't call it a riot. Do not call it a riot because you are perpetuating the exact same type of discrimination that has been happening to marginalized people for years or whatever, right? They said no, call it a protest. It doesn't matter if people are throwing Molotov cocktails at stores, at IEDs and Molotov cocktails at police officers, at courthouses, right? Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your eyes. Don't believe your ears. Just call it a protest, right? It's all just protest, right? As CNN had a reporter literally in front of a burning building, right? The burning building was right there behind him. Everybody could see it. But he said, well, it's fiery, but it's mostly peaceful. Yeah, right? What we live in right now is what's called a low trust society, right? America is having a moral convulsion. This comes from the Atlantic. Levels of trust in our institutions, in our politics, in one another are perceptuous. It's in a perceptuous decline. Okay, and when social trust collapses, nations fail. We also have this article from the Blaze Media. Moms whose arrested son allegedly punched cop in face amid riot at K-Nets giveaway actually blames the society, right, for lawlessness. Says you cannot blame the parents. Well, who can I blame? You, the parents, were the ones who brought these kids into this world, right? These kids weren't grown in a factory, right? They weren't built in a factory. They weren't grown in a test tube laboratory somewhere. Maybe they could have been, who knows, right? But no, they all came out of a woman, right? They all were born from a mother and a father, okay? And it's your responsibility as parents to raise your damn kids to have some respect for everything, for society, right? To not go out, right? These videos come out from was reposted from Ian Miles Chung, right? Just young people, no respect for anything around them. No public property, private property, no respect for anything, right? What's the purpose of them jumping around on top of this car, bashing out his windows, kicking this car? They don't own this car. This is somebody's car that they bought with their hard earned money. Probably still paying car payments on it. But because you have a bunch of young people who want to be famous, want to be influencers or whatever, right? They say, screw it. This is my time to shine, right? And I'm going to destroy and do all sorts of things to get famous, right? You got people running around, cameras all everywhere, just getting in random fights for no reason. You also, again, have people just mobbing around, hopping on cars, hopping on vans, busting out windows. And then you also have, innocent people getting attacked.
And his whole kiosk was ransacked. All the chips were broken and pulled apart. Things were taken off of it. And he was saying that he was injured because he was trying to stop the kids, and they hit his head, his neck, his back. The gentleman is in his 60s. He was talking to EMTs that were there and talking to the police that were there, giving them a report of what happened. But a totally just innocent victim in all this, that he was just doing his job, going about his day, and his business got ransacked there. But from where we are here, it does that the officer of circumventing them in that sense. And it from my perspective, that's.
I fucking despise local media, dude. There you go. There is no better representation of how dog water local media is, and how much they exacerbate like narratives that you see on Fox News.
Right. And so millionaire Hassan Piker, as the Quartering reports, small store owner likely working 100 hours a week just to get by, gets robbed and assaulted because a Twitch streamer caused a riot. Hassan Piker, millionaire socialist streamer, quote, "It's just a $3 bag of Doritos. Why are they reporting on this?" Right. No, these young people are going around assaulting working class people, right? And Hassan Piker, the socialist, right, the guy who openly wears shirts saying "Eat the rich," constantly just spews nothing more than a bunch of socialist garbage on his his stream channel, okay, to a bunch of young dumb people, right? But then all of a sudden, innocent working class people are getting hurt. Nah, I'm going to take the side of the rioters, right? Because people like Hassan Piker and all these other socialists, again, we saw this back in 2020, right? All these Democratic socialists, Elon Omar, Ocasio-Cortez, right? They all supported, right? Cori Bush and what's her name, Rashida Tlaib, right? The squad, right? The Democratic socialists in our country right now. They all supported this, right? They all sat there and said, "Oh, no. What you're seeing here is they're not riots. They're just peaceful protests, and it's the right wing. It's just make believe fake news that the right wing are perpetuating." Okay, going back to this Blaze article, a mother whose 19-year-old son was arrested after allegedly punching a police officer in the face amid a riot at a social media influencer Cenat giveaway Friday in New York City actually blamed society for the lawlessness and added that you cannot blame parents. Fox News reported that mother Stacy Lucas, who was speaking to the New York Daily News, rejected Mayor Eric Adams' declaration following the riot that parents were to blame for it. Instead, Lucas said police and society were to blame for it, according to Fox News. Quote, "You cannot blame parents. This is the blame of society, of people who use their guns to harm rather than protect," Lucas said. "For you to sit there and throw stones, get your crook cops in order." Crook cops where? These kids came out to New York City and started robbing and looting and getting in fights and doing all sorts of hoodlum, duggish actions, right? Doing nothing but mobbing around on the streets, causing nothing but chaos and riots. The police had to interject because these kids were were constantly doing criminal activity. And so for you to sit here and say, "Oh, well, it's the police officer's fault," you can see the social rot that we are seeing in real time. Okay, you not only have these kids who have no respect, right? They've been taught to have no respect for society, right? They have no real value, no aim, right? They are essentially all just going to grow up to be the dredges of society, okay? And it's because their parents are dredges of society, right? Their parents have no respect for this country, no respect for this bigger society around them, right? They were never taught anything regarding, they don't take any type of personal responsibility for anything that they ever done in their life. They decide to have children. Don't teach their kids how to be a actual functioning member of society, and their kids just become dredges of society as well, right? With no sense of personal responsibility, so they go out and get in fights with police. They go out and start crime, commit crimes, rob, loot, get in fights with people. When the police come up and say, hey, you guys cannot be doing that, they decide to get in fights with the police. And again, left-wing media outlets and all these Democrat socialists, right, these champagne socialist types will come out here and defend this, because these socialists, they want this type of chaos to continue, right, as they sit in their multi-million dollar mansions far removed from the rest of society, right? They like this chaos. They want this chaos to go down because they want the very, going back to the Atlantic, right? And when social trust collapse, nations fail. They want America to fail. They want to continue pushing out these new young people, keep to influence these young people to have no sense of patriotism, no sense of respect for for American society. They want these kids to go out and cause mayhem, and when they grow up, hopefully infiltrates all these other positions of leadership with the exact same mentality. And guess what? Everything is going to fall apart, so that the socialists can then rebuild their so-called socialist utopia, which, if you look in history, yeah, that has gone very well for them, right? They're on was it project number 19? Okay, so as it says here, right now, as we enter the events of 2020, the pandemic, the killing of George Floyd, militias, social media mobs, and urban unrest were like hurricanes that hit in the middle of that earthquake. They did not cause the moral convulsion, but they accelerated every trend. They flooded the ravines that had opened up in America's society and exposed every flaw. Okay? So, the Atlantic, of course, takes the left wing approach, right? Praising, people like, again, Bernie Sanders, Ocasio-Cortez, who are all, Democratic socialists, because the Atlantic is a pro-socialist website, okay? But again, they want this, right? They blame the conservatives for the reason why the high trust society here, for the low trust that we have in society. But really, it's the Democrats, right? Again, when the riots in 2020 broke out, it was the Democrats openly encouraging young people to go out and to go to the streets and let your voices be heard. But when you clearly saw that, hey, these kids are rioting, right? These people who are out here, as soon as the sun goes down, they're out there rioting, robbing, looting, throwing firebombs, IEDs, right? Makeshift, fireworks that they wrap up together, put gasoline in, they throw it, let it explode, right? And then cop cars were getting burnt down, businesses were getting burnt down, right? Police precincts were getting burnt down, right? The Democrats kept saying, "Oh, no, 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 don't believe your eyes, guys. Don't look at the actual robbing and looting and the actual the fighting between police officers. This is all just a peaceful protest." Lies. Okay. Chaos broke out, more from Fox News. Chaos broke out in Union Square Friday after Twitch influencer Cenat announced he was holding a PlayStation giveaway, resulting in an estimated 2,000 kids and teenagers showing up for a chance to win the coveted game console. The event soon spiraled into mayhem, with some allegedly throwing fireworks and other objects into crowds and assaulting officers. Dozens were arrested, and Cenat was charged with inciting a riot. Lucas' son, Angel John, 19, was among those taken into custody and was charged with assault unlawful assembly, the New York NYPD told Fox News Digital. He is accused of punching an officer in the face, according to the New York Daily News. Adams said parents were to blame for the violence and lawlessness, not police. Fox News said, quote, "This is not a policing issue. It is a parenting issue," Adams said over the weekend. According to the cable network, "We need to be clear on that. Police is a response after an incident happened, but this should be a proactive approach." Okay, so there you go, right? So this is not really to say, again, Cenat has a huge audience of young people. However, his audience are a bunch of just thugs, right? These young kids are, especially, I can't really say that much, but this new generation of children who are growing up, and they're going again. They're going to eventually. A lot of these people are going to eventually replace, the boomers, right? I'm like what the first generation. I'm a first generation Zoomer, right? I'm supposed to be replacing the boomers, right? The millennials right now. Well, the millennials right now are slowly replacing the boomers, and then I'm supposed to come in after the millennials, and then Generation Alpha, those who were born after I believe was 2010, are supposed to come and replace me. Okay, but as we see now, Generation Alpha, right? Essentially the back roster, right? The back roster of Generation Z in the new roster of Generation Alpha, these kids are just growing up with no sense of direction, no sense of self-worth, right? And the only thing that they know how to do, what to do, is to go out and cause mayhem, riots, and all sorts of things, and film themselves while doing it because they all want to have some type of clout, right? They're clout chasers, right? They all want to look cool. They all want to be that type of person who gets a million views on whatever Instagram, Snapchat, whatever app, social media app that they use. They have no sense of direction whatsoever, and this the only thing they know how to do is to go out and cause mayhem, chaos for a little quick clicks on an app, right? Because that's the only thing they find value in. They don't find any type of value within having a good job, having any type of good position within a company, or starting their own company, or doing anything. Because if they continue doing stuff like this, right, getting arrested, well, guess what? You kind of screwed your life up, because when you go to a job and they say, oh, well, you've been arrested several times for rioting or getting fights with police officers, none of these jobs want them. None of these jobs are going to want them. Everybody's going to try to, they're going to be disassociated from, higher society. And so they're going to be forced to just continue being dredge of society, right? Keep going on and trying to do anything that they can to try to get quick clicks on a social media app, because that's the only thing that they find value in, right? So, like always, stay safe, stay sane, be vigilant, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you Patriots on the battlefield.